east across southern parts of Chase County and into Lyon County. I need to see why they did not mention Chase County in the warning here. Is that because it's a different office? Okay, okay. All right, so we have the tornado warning for Lyon County. They say capable of producing a tornado 17 miles southwest of Cottonwood Falls, and it's radar indicated for the storm. So that's what it looks like right there on the radar. We can zoom this back out and put it over in the reflectivity mode. Let's clear this board that we have up here. All right, so again, it's a tornado warning for Lyon County right now, and this is going to be for a Doppler radar indicated storm. And it looks like the revolution on this, or the circulation on this, is still a bit farther to the south and west near Metfield. So let's go ahead and check out the tower camera there, looking from the, what's the wrong one? Let's go ahead and look down the Kansas Turnpike from Emporia to the southwest, and you can see there we have the lowering of the storm. I can't see a tornado or a funnel cloud in there at this point, but that's where it would be. So if this does start to approach Emporia, we will have it live here on this tower camera. A very good perch there on the southwest side of town, and we would certainly see this as it moves in. Again, so we have a tornado warning for Lyon County at this point. It's part of a bigger cluster of storms moving through the area that mainly are hugging along Interstate 70 and the Kansas Turnpike, moving from southwest to northeast. Peyton, do you have any idea why they didn't add Chase into this?
That'd be Wichita's office.
Okay, so I just don't understand why Wichita wouldn't have had a tornado warning with this as well. So maybe a difference of opinion, I don't know, but
there it is. They just did it.
They just did it.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. All right. So there. Forgive my confusion there as to why in the world we'd have a tornado warning for Lyon County for this thing that's still maybe 8 miles away from the border. We didn't have one for Chase County yet, but Lyon County was in it. That's certainly confusing. But now the Weather Service has added the entire thing. So we have Chase County in there, and we also have Lyon County in there, the tornado warnings for a rotating storm. Again, right now it's Doppler radar indicated, but this is right along the Kansas Turnpike, so if it does touch down, certainly the likelihood of somebody reporting it is going to be very, very high, obviously. Let's go ahead and check out the tower camera back there again. I've got my cameras tab here. And right there in Emporia, we have that camera, the ValueNet fiber camera, looking to the southwest along the Kansas Turnpike, looking southwest into the storm. So if this was to touch down, we will have a very good look at it for certain as it moves toward Emporia. All right, let's clear that. And bring back the velocity mode here. And we can see the storm again. It's the Doppler radar showing the velocity couplet, if you will, a rotation right there just to the southwest of the Emporia, Olpe area. Putting a cone track on here. Let's do the time of arrivals on this. Looks like it's going to be at least 30 minutes before it arrives in Emporia itself. So we've got it arriving, let's see, a little farther to the southeast, Emporia Municipal Airport, arriving about 4:58 p.m. And if it takes more of a northerly track, could arrive, let's see, where else do we have over there? In the Americas area, maybe Newman's Express care. We've got Emporia 456 showing up on that view. All right, so back over to the tower camera. Again, we have the Doppler radar indicated tornado with this, and again, could touch down really any time in that area. All right, so advancing. I'll take you back to the tower camera here. I want to see that view back down the Kansas Turnpike to the south and west toward this. It appears that and a lot of times if you are to the northeast of a storm, it is hard to see a tornado coming your way. I do think I see what would be the lowering or a funnel there, if there is one. I've gone right past it. All right, it's back up to the south and west. Right now I've got a little farther to the straight west. There we go. All right, so that looks like the storm coming toward Emporia right now. So if we see a funnel cloud, and this is going to be from this thing, and this is the area where the heaviest rain is. If we were to see a funnel cloud drop out of this, it'd probably be this area right here, based on what I'm seeing from the ValueNet fiber camera there on the west side of Emporia. So I have a really good look at the position of this thing. So again, it's going to touch down, it'd be kind of this area right there, making its way up the Kansas Turnpike toward Emporia at this point. All right, so again, it's a tornado warning that does include the southeast part of Chase County and the southern parts of Lyon County as well. for this thing. It is a Doppler radar indicated tornado at this point, and it certainly could touch down at any point. So we are definitely keeping a close eye on it. Back to the velocity mode right here. There's the spin, and what we see is the anything on there that's red means the winds are going away from the radar. Green is toward, so you have your rotation right there, and the distance on this. Let's see how far away from Emporia it would be. At this point, we'd be looking at it's about 20 miles southwest of Emporia, and again moving northeast at roughly 40 miles per hour. And we have the tornado warning for the southeast part of Chase County as well as much of Lyon County. So located 17 miles south of Cottonwood Falls, still is a Doppler radar indicated tornado according to the National Weather Service, and I don't see it touching down yet either from our tower camera. Of course, we're keeping a close eye on it. If it does touch down, I think we'll have a good look at it. All right, so let's go back over the camera here. There we go. And looking to the kind of west-southwest from Emporia there, you can see certainly just a downpour on the horizon, but I don't believe that I see anything touching down there at this point. So again, that's the tornado warning that does include much of Lyon County and also includes a big chunk of the southeast part of Chase County, right along the Kansas Turnpike. And that warning, again, does include Emporia, and it does include Chase, Greenwood counties also going until 5:15 p.m. And right now it's a Doppler radar indicated tornado. I don't have any pictures or anything of that coming in at this point. And we're going to stay on here, of course, continuous with our coverage as long as this tornado warning continues. But again, it looks like the rotation itself would be confined there right along the Kansas Turnpike, very close to Matt Field, a few miles south of Bazaar. We get a distance from Bazaar here. You're looking at it's about 8 miles south of the town of Bazaar. So if you're in this area, of course, we encourage you to take cover inside a sturdy building. Lowest level of your house is always the best way to go. Get away from windows, of course. If you don't have a basement, the lowest level is the best you can do. So if you can go to the lowest level, that's as far down as you can go, then that's where you have to be. But certainly stay away from windows. Cover your heads if you're in this area, and certainly just stay inside while the storm passes by. But again, that is a Doppler radar indicated tornado at this point, and don't have any reports of it actually on the ground, but certainly has the potential to do so. All right, looking south across Emporia right now, and again, Emporia hit with the flooding along the Cottonwood River as well, so we don't. You've had several dangerous things with the weather going on, and now we've got this storm with a potential tornado coming. Very hard to pick up, but we're watching to see if anything does start to drop here. And I'm again, velocity mode showing that we have a rotation right there along the Kansas Turnpike. I'll go over to the correlation coefficient. This is the a debris mode, if you will, and I don't see anything flying there. Usually, if you're looking at just dust and dirt, that doesn't always show up that great on the debris mode. But once if it hits any sort of man-made structures, then we do wind up with bigger chunks in the sky that can tend to show up better from the debris. So that's the kind of thing that we're watching for on this. All right, so go back over to the tower camera here. And I'm going to look straight south into the storm. So that's what we've got, looking straight south. And this is near the intersection of Highway 50 and Industrial Road, looking south into the heavy precipitation coming into the city right now. Now the tornado itself would be coming really closer to the Kansas Turnpike, so coming from the southwest, and be heading toward Emporia and toward the Olpe as well. You'd be in the path of this. So looking southwest, again, we're watching to see if anything shows up on the tower camera there. Again, it's still a few miles away, so certainly going to be far enough it may be difficult to see. What we're looking through right there for the tower camera is from the tower camera, again, it's the Emporia, the ValueNet Fiber folks that provide that camera here. Looking southwest, you have to look through the rain, and the hail tends to be north of where the funnel cloud itself is out of the tornado. So This is large hail falling here. Could be the size of anywhere from quarters to golf balls. So the camera's trying to look through all that and see the rotation that's just south of Bazaar and near Matfield Green, right there on the Kansas Turnpike. So it makes it difficult for the camera to pick it up when it has to look through all that hail and the heavy rain. So that does complicate the mission to try to see what's going on with it. All right, so I'm going to zoom it back out. We'll put it back into velocity mode. I'm going to loop this. And what we're going to see there on the loop is the rotation. It looks like it's becoming more well-defined. Note there are a couple of things going on there. One, it probably is becoming more organized. Two is the storm is getting closer to the actual Doppler radar unit. So sometimes a storm looks like it's growing, and it means it's just in a position where the radar can see it better. You can kind of see these purple rings out here. That's really the end of the useful area for that Doppler radar unit that's near Maple Hill. So as it gets closer to that, we start to see more of the features of the storm. It probably is a strengthening as well, but that's also one of the reasons why you see storms like this that do look like they're intensifying as well, is because as they're moving their way up the Kansas Turnpike in this particular situation, it is actually getting closer to the radar itself. All right, back to the view from the Emporia camp right above Valley Unit Fiber, looking to the southwest into the very heavy rain here. Peyton, I would encourage you to once in a while look at that super clean TV over there.
Okay.
That's the one that's going to see this view.
I put our camera on Max 2 also, so you can watch it the whole time over there.
Awesome. That one's got such a clear resolution. If there was one that would be like looking at it for real, that thing is so clear. All right, so we're keeping an eye again to the southwest from Emporia. That's the Emporia cam, again provided by Valley Unit Fiber, looking at this thing, and I don't see it showing up yet, but again we're looking into the hail and the heavy rain. So if you're in Emporia, I do encourage you to take cover right now as that storm is getting closer to you. Bridge, I want to make sure you guys have got closed captioning going. I didn't yell it. Okay, thank you. I want to make sure we do have that going so that people that may be hearing impaired can hear every word we're saying here. But again, Emporia should be taking cover right now from this storm. All right, let's go back over to the radar. Here we go. And if you are in the storm warning, it's a tornado warning going until 5:15 p.m. Northeast motion at 30 miles per hour, and the storm is located. Let's get the distance on this now. So the velocity mode on this is going to put almost at the Lyon County and Chase County lines, and the distance on this, I'd say from Emporia to the southwest, about 16 miles at this point. So taking it forward in time, we'll take it back toward, I'm going to erase that, and we'll take it forward in time with a cone track from the storm toward Emporia, arriving right about 5 o'clock, not much after that. And then Opie, if it takes more of a right turn, you'll be looking at arriving at 5:06, arriving at the Emporia Municipal Airport at 5:07. And if it goes more of a north trajectory, there's Hayworth School will be in the path. Saffordville Church is one of the locations there that we have in the system. I've added a lot of churches and schools to give people more landmarks, just in case the storm is coming your way and you don't know what county you're in necessarily, but you know what school is close to you. That's something that most people will certainly know. All right, so looping this again, you can see the rotation coming right up the Kansas Turnpike, and that's a well-defined rotation, but again, when it's the position we have the camera now, we're looking into the hail and the heavier rain, but I think now that I can actually see the lowering a bit better on this. So looking to the southwest from Emporia, that's the spot we're looking at now. That's definitely it. All right, so the Emporia camera, this is on a transmission tower that's very close to the intersection of Industrial Road and Highway 50. Thank you, Peyton, that's spectacular. All right, so here's the lowering to this. You have the rain-free base here. You have all kinds of rain and hail falling right here in this part of the picture, and you tend to see, in a storm like this, you tend to see the largest of the hail just to the north of the rotation, or where the tornado would be. So in this case, if you're trying to see a storm from the northeast looking to the southwest, it's difficult to do because you're looking through the rain and hail. I want a push notification sent out for people in Emporia to take cover. Okay, all right, thank you, Peyton. All right, perfect. Can you have news do that as well, okay? They've got a couple of minutes here, but by 5 o'clock, I want to make sure that every single person that lives in Emporia knows that we've let them know this thing is coming That storm is an area where the rotation is not likely to fall apart. There aren't any storms south of it to kind of take energy away from it. And judging by the way it's looked on the radar, this does look like it's intensifying, if not at least maintaining its strength. All right, so back over here to the radar. We'll go ahead and zoom in more closely on this, and we've got the tornado warning until 5:15 for this storm that's making its way almost right along the Kansas Turnpike. So putting it back over to the single site radar, we'll see if we have a hook echo on this. You don't always have to see a hook echo to have rotation, but we do see it this time. There it is. This is the hook or the inflow right there into the storm, and the mileage on that, so we get how far away it is from Olpe here. Distance, and we'll go from what would be the inflow and the tornado potential here up to Olpe is about 11 miles, or to Emporia from this is going to be, let's get a mileage on that, it's going to be roughly 13 miles to Emporia. So it's going right along the Kansas Turnpike. So one of the targets here for time of arrival is going to be towns, but keep in mind, travel along the Kansas Turnpike is a terrible idea right now in that area. And that storm, if you're in Topeka planning to go toward Wichita, or Wichita going the other way, that's a storm chaser area right now. It's not a place to travel. It's going to be very dangerous. And the storm's been lining up right along the Kansas Turnpike. So we do encourage you to stay off of that area on the Kansas Turnpike, at least for the next few hours. I certainly wouldn't drive there if I didn't have to. So let's zoom this out a little farther here. We've got Emporia arriving, going to be just about 5, maybe 10 minutes after 5. That might be a little slow. It might be close to 5:05 before it arrives. And then if it turns a little farther to the right, we'll be looking at Olpe, an arrival for you about 5:05 p.m. So back over to the velocity. Actually, I'm going to take the camera again here. Let's keep checking that thing. All right, there we go. So looking from the Emporia cam to the southwest, right along the Kansas Turnpike. I'm going to step off and look at this other camera here so I can see it as clean as possible myself, and I don't see it touching down in there. That doesn't mean it's not touching down in there, but I don't see it touching down at this point. Now, what we're looking at is you're going to be looking through hail. This is either very heavy rain and or hail right here falling in this part of the storm. And then behind that, we have the rain-free base here, and there could be a tornado enshrouded in the rain in this, and that's probably what's happening as a matter of fact. So if this is touching down, what you'll see is we have the hook here, the hail there. So I'm looking from the tower camera through the hail. The hook and the tornado would be right here, right on the turnpike, and more precipitation south of that feeding in. So we have the tower camera in a great spot to look that way, but I really think the hail is probably obscuring it right now. But in the next few minutes, once the hail passes, we may have a really good look at a storm coming in Emporia. And I encourage you strongly, if you're in Emporia or Olpe, you got to take cover right now. Get to the lowest level of your house, get away from windows, get to a shelter in your house that's away from exterior walls. What that means is if you have a wall that the other side of that wall is the outside, those are the first walls a tornado can knock down. If you have 2 walls between you and the outside, it has to knock down both of them to get to you. Our shelter here in the building has 3 walls, which makes us safer each wall we have. So that's something we do here at the station as well. We don't have a basement in the TV station, but we have a safe spot that gives us the safest chance that we have. So if you're there around Emporia and Olpe, take cover from this thing. It looks to me like it's rain wrapped from what I see, and it's really coming right up the Kansas Turnpike toward Emporia and Olpe at this point. All right, I'll take it back over the radar here, put it back in the velocity mode, and we've got this thing spinning and coming right along the Kansas Turnpike, not showing any signs of weakening at all. As a matter of fact, I think it is strengthening from what I see. All right, let's zoom it in closer. And if you guys have pictures or anything on this, please holler at me on this. Or if the Weather Service updates something I don't know about yet, please holler at me. That'd be wonderful. So right there on the Chase Lyon County border, very close to the Kansas Turnpike, is where we have what is likely a tornado at this point. So far, the reports on this from the National Weather Service, they are saying it is Doppler radar estimated or Doppler radar indicated, but that means it certainly could touch down at any point. All right, so zooming out on this one more time, let's look at the radar across the entire area, do the composite one time, and look at all of northeast Kansas. And I want to show you the pattern here that these storms are working their way right along the Kansas Turnpike, or at least parallel to it. So this isn't the only storm going. Let me loop this into motion. You'll see the storms are coming from southwest to northeast. So we have a rotating storm that's just southwest of Emporia with the possibility of producing a tornado. And we also have several areas of heavy rain to the north. These storms are not rotating at this point, but that thing coming in the southern parts of Lyon County definitely is. And it is the definition of rain-wrapped tornado if you're ever going to find one. So there's the rotation on this. The precipitation certainly extends farther east than the rotation on it does. There's also another rotating storm here just east of Wichita that we've been watching. Just so you know, this is not the only thing rotating in the storm system. There are several targets that are actually rotating. So this one's not alone. It's in an environment that is conducive to create spinning storms. All right, so there it is. The mileage on this now, get the distance here from the center of the rotation. It's a little farther east than the Kansas Turnpike now, maybe a mile off the Turnpike, and it's about 14, maybe 15 miles away from Emporia, and maybe taking a bit of a right turn. So I'm going to put this back on velocity again. I want to see if that thing is actually spinning its way to the right. Sometimes when they strengthen, and sometimes even when they don't, they'll take kind of a right turn, and it looks like it's coming off the Turnpike a little bit there. You'll see it now. The center of the rotation was right over the Turnpike, and now it is just east of the Turnpike, but still, Emporia and Olpe, you are definitely in the path of this storm, and so far it's Doppler radar indicated. I don't have a report of this on the ground to my knowledge, but looking out from that camera in Emporia, you can see the storm moving in, and I really think that it's going to be rain-wrapped. So if this is in fact in there, then we're going to have hail and a lot of rain between the camera and the storm itself. Turn the camera around, look just straight south here. That's looking south across the Cottonwood River. You can see all that river flooding there. And to get your bearings as well, if maybe you're not from Emporia and you've been there a couple of times, I'll just show you kind of here to the southeast of the camera. What you'll be looking at right here, this is Highway 50. This is Industrial Road. There's the water's true value right here. So if you've been to Emporia, you probably know where that location is at the Highway 50 and Industrial Road intersection. That's right there on the west side of town. Our tower camera is about 15 stories up there on the west side of Emporia, and has a really good vantage point to look at the storm as it moves toward the city. There's where you leave town on the west side, where it interacts with Highway I-35 and the Kansas Turnpike as well. All right, so very heavy rain falling from this, and I still don't see the funnel cloud in here or a tornado. That doesn't mean that there is not one. Most likely this is going to be very rain-wrapped or rain-enshrouded, however you want to say it. The storm is hiding the tornado is what I would say from looking at this. All right, so this image now, I think I can see what may be an inflow into it right here, and that looks like it's probably going to be the dangerous part of this. So at this point, I really think that's what it is. We're seeing it come toward the city now. It's about 12 miles southwest of Emporia. So with the rain and hail all there, there's a much better hook echo now better, I don't want to say good, but more well-defined hook echo showing up right there close to the Kansas Turnpike. So again, the velocity on this showing it's still spinning very strongly. We'll zoom this back out. And the rotation from this looks like it's just off the Kansas Turnpike now. It was right on the Kansas Turnpike, but it looks to me like it's turned right a little bit. So spinning off just to the right of the Kansas Turnpike, and the rotation from this last frame doesn't look as well defined as it was the previous frames. I'm not sure that means it's, it looks like it just changed quickly. Did the peak of radar go down or something?
Yeah, it looks like a higher elevation scan.
Okay. Yeah, so what you're seeing there, it looks like, I don't know why it's done that, but ignore that last frame is what I would say. There's something going on with the Topeka Weather Service radar. Yeah, go back to just the last frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like that, but it's actually about right here. So we're going to put that location.
Hang on, I got to get you back here.
That's fine. Just go ahead and let it roll.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out what's up with the radar. It looks like the Topeka National Weather Service radar is what this is. So your tax dollars are paying lots and lots of dollars for that. But just leave, it's fine. I'm sure the next scan will come in fine. But right here, just southwest of Emporia, that's the rotation is located at this point. I'm going to check the correlation coefficient. That's the debris to see if we have any debris, in fact, flying. Sometimes you pick it up and sometimes you don't. And often if it's just out in a rural area picking up dust, it doesn't really show up as well in that situation. So you'd always see a debris signature on the debris mode. So again, another look here from the Emporia campus provided by ValueNet Fiber. I'm looking to the southwest of the city right now, and I see what looks like the lowering in there. But because there's so much rain around this, there are many storms that it could be a huge tornado or a small one that are just encircled by rain, hail, and wind. You just can't see the thing until it's right on top of you in many cases. And what will happen in many cases with this is what storm chasers call a hook slice when they're actually storm chasing, is they'll try to get in between the shrouded area where it's all rain and hail. They'll try to get just behind that curtain to where they can see the tornado where it's backlit. So if you were storm chasing and saw this, it's something you want to get out of the way of, but some of the folks that are a little more risky will go for this view. And if this thing comes, if this is what I'm seeing, this rain and hail is right here, once that gets past the tower camera, we may have a very good look at this, this tornado, this potential tornado that's moving toward Emporia. So far, I don't have any reports of it on the ground. Nobody has a funnel cloud, nothing, right?
No, the Weather Service said the low-level rotation appears to have weakened, so that might be what you were seeing in velocity mode, that it actually is weakening, but still capable of producing a tornado. And that was 1 minute ago. They said it was 8 miles west of Olpe, moving northeast. Okay, now the newest frame came in on the radar here, and I think they had a bad frame. I don't know what they mean by this thing is weakening at this point. So yeah. I don't mean to be disrespectful to those guys. They do a wonderful job, but I'm not seeing it weakening. I saw we had a bad frame of radar data there, and now I see a great frame of radar data where it looks more pronounced than it did in the previous scan. I think that previous scan.
Yeah, that might have been what they were seeing and said it was weakening.
They need to disregard that one and come back to this one unless I'm seeing it wrong, and I don't think I am. What distance did they say? 8 miles west of Olpe?
Yes. Yes, okay. Correct.
All right, so Olpe,
and they are sounding the sirens in Neosho Rapids, Hartford, and Olpe.
Okay, so Neosho Rapids, Hartford, Olpe, Lyon County Emergency Management is sounding the outdoor emergency sirens. They're not sounding them in Emporia yet. Okay, maybe they are. I don't know, but that's the rotation right here. So Olpe, you need to take cover right now. If you're in Emporia, Neosho Rapids, Hartford, you're not in the tornado warning. But when the emergency management sounds the sirens, you know, I'm not going to argue with them. If they sound sirens, I would take cover as well in most cases, unless you check in here and I say all clear. And I'm not going to say all clear unless I'm real sure of it. So if I tell you that you're all clear, I'm not going to have a gray area. I'm going to err way on the side of caution for that kind of thing. So what I'm seeing right there, we'll cone track this toward Emporia. We have the rotation right there. Heading to the east-northeast. So Emporia, we'd have this arriving 5:17 p.m. Newman's Express Care is one of the places in town, 5:16. Quaker Valley School arriving about 5:21. And if it takes more of a right turn, it's been tending to go more of a east-northeast instead of a true northeast. Trailer School, Emporia Alternative School, and Emporia Municipal in the path in the next few minutes as well on this. Okay, let's go back over to the camera and look back at the storm, and we're going to be looking again, I think, right through the hail core on this, and you can see some of the heavier rain coming down in Emporia now, and because that storm is taking more of an east-northeast jog instead of true northeast like it was early going, I'm going to turn it a little farther to the south and keep an eye there. It may be tracking a little left of the camera position I have here, but I can say that I do have the heavy rain moving in there, and I want to see how big the hail might be on this as well as it's starting to move into Emporia as well. So on the hail zone here, I've got a core of some hail just to the north of the Kansas Turnpike, and many times the hail will be just north of the actual rotation. So what we're seeing on here is not indicating massive hail. What did the warning say on hail size? Do you guys remember? Did it have quarters?
It could be up to quarters based on what I'm seeing on radar here.
Okay. Very good. So there's the rotation on this.
And the siren's now in Emporia.
Sirens are in Emporia now. Okay, very good. You pan this to the north again, and it looks like, again, a few minutes ago it was right on the Kansas Turnpike near Matfield. It was coming, Matfield Green. It's coming right at the Kansas Turnpike. It turned a little bit to the right. Tornadic storms do turn to the right often, especially if they become a little stronger. So let's look at it on the velocity again and see where it's actually going. And that's a well-defined sign of a tornado right there. That bright green and bright red bumped right up against each other. That's going to be the spot where we'd have potential tornado right now, where the radar returns in this. The radar is located near Maple Hill, so the bright red and bright pink there indicate radar returns going away from the radar. Bright green indicates going toward the radar. And again, it's going to be maybe 2 miles east of the Kansas Turnpike, about 7 miles west of Olpe at this time, and distance on that from Emporia again. You're looking at this from Emporia to the circulation is about maybe 10 miles at the most. So let's go back over to our tower camera in Emporia, looking to the south and southwest, and you can see it's just a lot of rain and hail falling there. I'm not sure how big the hail might be in Emporia at this time. Looks like it's not very large, but there's certainly a lot of rain falling, and it's almost impossible to see to the southwest. A little while ago we had some definition looking that direction. Now you can hardly see anything at all. But if it's in there, we're about to see this curtain of rain and probably some hail pass by the tower camera most likely and give us a look at what's going on inside this thing. Actually, if it stays across the southeast side of the city, it may be enshrouded in the rain and hail the entire time. But the hook echo getting right about here. It's just southwest or just due west of Olpe, about 6 or 7 miles, and not far from Emporia at this time at all. So putting it back on the velocity mode within 5-10 minutes, that's the brightest sign of a tornado we've seen so far in this thing right there. All right, let's see what we've got here for some of these values. 74 mile per hour velocity, gate-to-gate shear of about 40. Clear that off.
Upper left.
Right. All right, so that's what we have right there. And now I'm starting to get getting some of the clearing there. So I'm actually able to see past the rain and the hail. So let's turn this and see if we see anything here. Going back to the west or the south, that's what the storm is going to be. The higher tornado potential is going to be now. And the farther to the east I go with the camera, to the left, I'm getting into more of that core of the heavier rain and the hail that's likely falling from this too. So we're looking almost due south now. You can see the clouds are barely higher than the tower camera itself. And now I'm looking more to the southeast at this point with that view. But you see very heavy rain falling in Emporia. If you're in Lyon County, Neosho Rapids area, Olpe, Emporia, please take cover right now as this thing moves through. That last scan I saw was the most certain sign of a tornado on the ground that I've seen from this thing so far. And it's very likely that this is touching down right now, or has in the last few moments. And it does look to be fairly strong, and it is definitely rain wrapped if the thing is in there. So again, Lyon County, we've got this looks like a dangerous storm at this point. And from what I see on the radar, this is almost certainly touching. Go ahead.
I got something new here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me show you here what we've got on radar. It looks like we're seeing another area of circulations develop. Let me show you the rotation mode of radar here. Here's the circulation that we've been talking about, that Jeremy's been talking about west of Olpe, moving to the northeast. And if that's not clear enough, I can turn on the other mode of radar. And right where you see these green pixels, that's where we could be looking at that's where the rotation is maximized there, to the southwest of Emporia, and then also to the southwest of Olpe. That storm is continuing to move off in a northeasterly direction. So if you're in Olpe, want to be prepared. We just want to keep an eye on the storm. Again, you're in the tornado warning. Also Emporia, and the reason reason why we haven't had anything confirmed this storm is definitely if there's going to be a tornado with it is going to be rain wrapped, because where we see the area of circulation here on radar right here, you look at the rain mode of radar and it's just all red. That indicates that this is going to be obscured by rain. We have rain in Emporia, south of the city as well. And so as that moves to the northeast, again, you do not want to go out and try and see this for yourself, because if there is a tornado being produced out of the storm, it's very likely rain wrapped and you're just not going to see it. So again, tornado warning continues until 5:15. The storm will continue to monitor carefully. We're watching our sky cam in Emporia looking to the southwest, and again, that's kind of the reason we haven't seen anything there either. But again, stay in your storm shelters at this point in Emporia, Olpe, and the southern sections of Lyon County. Jeremy?
Thanks, Peyton. Okay, so the very well-defined sign of rotation almost straight south of our tower camera now, really. Peyton showing the other rotations showing up very close to the Kansas Turnpike as well. So we have two different rotations there. That's not uncommon, but certainly something that is reason for concern. I can see better now south of our tower camera. Looks like we may be catching kind of the back edge of the heaviest precipitation, looking almost straight south into this. So I can actually see some daylight peeking in on the back side of this. But that tornado is going to be right in there, just south of Emporia right now. And from the returns we're seeing on the radar, if this thing is not touching down, then I'm not sure how it's not. It's very well defined. It's just that it's rain wrapped. It'd be tough to see from any direction right now, so much precipitation is falling around this. Back on Tuesday, the storms we had were called LP supercells, low precipitation, meaning you can see them for 10, 20 miles in any case. This is the opposite. This is like something you see in Louisiana or Mississippi, where the storms are in such a high precipitation environment that it's difficult to really see anything in them. But the velocity mode really goes in and takes it out of hiding. You can see where that's showing up straight to the south of the west side of Emporia right now. So looping this again, there's your well-defined rotation. I think we had a bad radar return there a few minutes ago, but now you can see it coming up the north, paralleling I-70, taking a little turn to the right, and the heaviest precipitation, hail, right there on the north side of this, falling across the south side of Emporia. So if you're in Emporia, I'm not saying all clear by any means at all, but be happy that this thing is taking kind of a turn. It was going straight northeast of the city, and now it's taking a little bit of a southeast turn, or east turn, more toward the airport and just north of Olpe. This might go right between Emporia and Olpe, but the central and east side of Emporia, you have the highest chance of this thing coming at you right now. So let's do the time of arrivals on this again. Going from the center of the storm, the worst part of this, to the northeast, has been going roughly 30 miles per hour, but again, it's taken a bit of a turn. So Emporia Municipal Airport, 5:14 p.m., 10 minutes from now. Newman Hospital, Trailer School, 5:23 and 5:28 p.m. Not just giving you the arrival in Emporia, it's a big town with a lot of locations. So if it does take a little more of a right turn, which has been trying to go more to the right, let's see what we have here. We've got a Municipal Airport still in that path, a little more to the right. How about Olpe Junior High at 5:18? And it does look like it's going more to the east now, but sometimes they'll go northeast, turn east, and then jog back to the northeast, kind of like hurricanes sometimes can do. So again, back onto the tower camera, looking straight south from Emporia now toward the storm. We have very heavy precipitation falling. This is the area of Highway 50, Industrial Road. The Cottonwood River is right there under this heavy, heavy batch of precipitation falling right now. And Emporia, it looks like the central and east side of the city has the highest chance of having this actually strike if it's going to do so. But this is a rain-wrapped tornado. We haven't had a confirmation of it touching down, but the rotation on this is so significant, it'd be hard to believe that it has not touched down at some location at some time in here. Now, on the correlation coefficient, this shows whether debris might be flying. I don't see anything major flying in the air of this.
It's raining so hard, there won't be any debris.
Okay, that's possible. It will keep the debris down. That's absolutely right. Okay, so it's straight south of Emporia right now. This would be it, right in this area where that notch is located. So back on the velocity again here. Again, we have the It's not a confirmed tornado. It's definitely rain wrapped. And what we've seen of this storm, it's been significant, it's been strong, and it's making its way northeast, now making its way a little more to the east. And heads up, Peyton was showing a second rotation with that particular supercell, but this rotation farther to the south is now making its way into Greenwood County. That's a tornado warning for this bright red and bright green right there, make its way into Greenwood County. So if you're in Coffee County and Southern Lyon, you need to keep an eye on this one too. After this one, and I'm not sure how long this is going to take to go away, but it's not the only game in town. We have this one in Greenwood County that's now kicked off, and we'll have to watch that as well, as it is making its way northeast as well, and could affect folks in kind of the same areas. So again, looking south from Emporia, that's from the Emporia camp provided by ValueNet Fiber. I don't see anything but heavy rain in there. Once in a while, you'll get a break from the rain sometimes, these HP supercells, and see something, but it's awfully difficult to pick anything out. There's some lightning striking close to the tower there as the heavy precipitation is falling there. No surprise about having heavy rain around a tornadic storm. So we'll zoom in more closely on this and loop it again. All right, there's the loop, zooming in. And your storm has been moving very close to the Kansas Turnpike. Started off in southeast Chase County, and now it's making its way awfully close to Olpe here. So zooming back out here, let's check out the rotation on this again. Olpe, you got to take cover right now. Neosho Rapids, Hartford, Emporia, you should be taking cover everywhere in Emporia right now. Basement, if you have one, certainly the lowest level of your house. If you don't have a basement, the first floor is the best you can do, and that's what you've got to do. Cover your heads as well, and be ready in case this thing was to hit. Now, putting it back into a loop here, the rotation on that was coming right at the Kansas Turnpike, made a bit of a right turn, and it looks like it's going just between Olpe and Emporia right now. That's it right there, and the rotation not as tight or bright as it was just a moment ago. About 8 minutes ago was where it was the most intense, and now the rotation would be a bit more broad from what I can see there. Now, I wouldn't say all clear by any means, but I would say that rotation is not as bright and intense as it was just a moment ago. Let's look back at the tower camera again. We're going to look south from Emporia. This potential tornado would be just right there. It's not more than about 8 miles south of that tower camera location, but there's so much rain and hail, maybe the size of nickels or even quarters falling with this, it is impossible to see past the Cottonwood River on the south side of the city. That's as far as I can see right now. Tyson plant right there on the should be in the screen as well. Water's True Value right about there. This is Highway 50 and Industrial Road is right there, and you just can't see anything past that with this extremely heavy rain from the storm cell around Olpe. You should be taking cover right now. Neosho Rapids as well, Hartford. You are awfully close to the path of this thing. And again, the rotation on this just south of Emporia, but the precipitation is so heavy, it is awfully hard to see it in there. So we'll zoom in and get to a distance on this from where it would be now from the south side of town. All right, so from Emporia, we're going to go from Highway 50 to the rotation. You're looking at maybe 5 miles, close to Highway 99. And again, the Cottonwood River right through here, just on the south side of the city. The rotation showing up there maybe 5 miles south of Highway 50. And from what I could see, it was moving northeast along the Kansas Turnpike and then took a bit of an east jog. And it looks like it's going to go closer to the airport and then maybe across the east and southeast side of the city of Emporia. You'll also see that a few minutes ago we had that brighter pink color showing up there. It's still there, but it's not as tight as it was up against the other colors. So we'll go ahead and stop this, put this on the now version, clear it, and we'll check out what the velocity is showing up here on the storm. So we've got right here these brighter pink colors. That's going to be, what speed do we have there?
And Jeremy, just to let you know,
go ahead.
3A state baseball and softball games have been postponed until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Thank you. All right, so tornado warning continues for 5 more minutes for Emporia for this storm. It is a rain. If it's a tornado, it's a rain-wrapped tornado. The radar looked like it has touched down. I'm not sure if it's done any damage, The debris mode, we didn't see anything flying. That doesn't mean that nothing was out there, but certainly the debris mode was not picking anything up from what I could see. Go ahead and turn it a little farther to the southeast now. I've had it looking due south for a few minutes. Try to follow the storm there, and you can see how heavily the rain is coming in. You can't see more than about 3 blocks from our tower camera there.
And we just have a new flash flood warning for Lyon and Morris County until 9:15.
They indicate how much rain?
12 miles south of Emporia, water over the roadway on the turnpike. The Kansas Turnpike just tweeted 12 miles south of Emporia, they have water over the roadway on the turnpike.
Okay. You said 12 miles southwest of Emporia?
South of Emporia, sir.
South Emporia. Okay, so that's going to be southeast Chase County most likely, and it's certainly dangerous itself. So that's how heavy the rain is falling. Again, this is a major interstate with water running over it. You just don't see that very often, but you can see how heavy the rain is coming down in this picture. Okay, new tornado warning data coming in here.
That's me till 5:45.
Go ahead.
Yeah, new tornado warning till 5:45.
They've added Lyon, Coffee, and Osage are now added into this tornado warning, and we've still got it as radar indicated, located near Olpe, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour is the latest on this. So the National Weather Service says that it's located near Olpe, and it's moving northeast at 40 miles per hour is their latest report on this. All right. Back over to the radar, we'll put the velocity mode on here. And I'll step out there and we'll track the motion on this. So the rotation is going to be right in this area, just in the north side of Olpe and just south of Emporia, most likely. Extremely heavy rain falling in Emporia, and also going to be at least some hail with this on the north side of the storm is usually where you see the biggest of the hail. So look at the hail zone here, and you can see the track of the largest hail staying right to the north of the track of where the rotation is. And that's common, and if you're looking south toward a storm, it is hard to pick out the actual funnel cloud or tornado in many cases because of that. So looking, just, Melissa just mentioned, there is water running across the Kansas Turnpike 12 miles southwest of Emporia. We have a push notification on that for the apps, please?
Yeah, I just sent it.
Okay. Have Nick do that on the main app too, because that's a big deal to have water running across the Kansas Turnpike. So from Emporia, that's the Emporia cam provided by ValueNet Fiber. We're on the west side of town looking south-southeast, not quite due south. That's Industrial Road, which goes straight from north to south. And you can see looking into this how heavy the precipitation is there in Emporia. All right, so back on the velocity mode here on this, and you'll see the spin of this is actually intensified now in the last frame. So this is it right there, just north of Emporia. Looks like what may be an RFD or rear flank downdraft, strong winds in Olpe right now. So if you're around Olpe, please stay inside. That's a dangerous storm coming through, and you're not going to get a picture of this. If you're in Lyon County, you think, oh, it'd be neat to get a picture of a tornado. It's not going to happen. You're just putting yourself in danger even trying. The storms we saw back on Tuesday around Topeka and even up toward Bern and Oneida, those storms, the one that was near Chapman and near Mayetta and Denison, those areas, you can get a picture of those. I'm not recommending it, but you can see them for 10 miles in many cases because they have less rain with them. This one is producing so much rain that we have water running across the Kansas Turnpike southwest of Emporia. It's that extreme. So if you think you're going to get a picture of this, it's just not going to happen. It's going to be like standing in a car wash and trying to take a picture of something. You won't see it. You're just going to be putting yourself in danger. But if you're in Olpe, the winds there are going to be very strong. Rear flank downdraft for this, what it looks like to me, and then the rotation for this, the tornado itself would be between Emporia and Olpe right now, heading very close to Neosho Rapids in the next few minutes. But the Weather Service extended the tornado warning to include parts of Coffee County and also Osage County with this going until 5:45 p.m. And the motion on this now is 40 miles per hour to the northeast. So let's do some time variables on this from the rotation right there. We'll take it northeast at 40 miles per hour and see where we're going. All right, Redding, 5:41 p.m. is when we arrive in Redding. I'll take it a little farther to the left or to the north. There's Trailer School at 524 if it does that. It goes more to the east, more to the east-northeast. Neosho Rapids, 5:29 p.m. Lebo at 5:41 p.m. I'll even take it a little bit out of the box. Now, the box is not a fence. Tornadoes don't have to obey the tornado warning shape, so I'll take it a little farther out of the box just in case. We're still looking at Lebo. Lebo Elementary School will be in the path of this, and that's where that would be going at this point if it went a little more to the east. Sometimes the tornadoes will change path. And you can actually see it take a turn here. It was coming almost right at the Kansas Turnpike, and just about the time it got to the county line, it turned more to the east-northeast instead of going almost straight northeast, jumping off the Kansas Turnpike. And you know, once this is over with, and there's an analysis of the path of this, if it has touched down, it'll be interesting to see if that was a great thing for Emporia. This thing jumped to the right. Now, the east side of town, you are still in the path of this. The tornado warning itself, the new one, let me show you more closely here. In Emporia, if you are in the city of Emporia, the west side of town is not even in the tornado warning at this point. It is the central and east side of the city that are in it, and so this taking a little jog to the east really may have been a great thing for the city. If you're in Emporia, I still encourage you to take cover as it's passing by, no matter what part of town you're in. It's certainly a dangerous storm. We did see a sign of a second rotation just to the west of the parent rotation, the biggest part of this. Now, again, looking to the southeast at this, east-southeast, south-southeast is the direction we're looking here. I can barely see the intersection of industrial rain. Melissa Bruner mentioned a few minutes ago, we have flooding on the Kansas Turnpike 12 miles southwest of Emporia from the storm. That's what kind of rain we're looking at there, and certainly just a very dangerous situation, not just from the tornado, but when you've got something that could produce enough rainwater to cover the Kansas Turnpike, that's a very rare storm indeed. So let's check out the Doppler radar estimates over the past hour on this, and you can see the heaviest rain falling right along the Kansas Turnpike, right there where we have it running across the road, and a 3-hour total. We'll look at that. And once you get over the 3-hour totals, now you start getting some of these yellows. This bright yellow here is about 4 inches of rain falling in the southeast part of Chase County in just the last 3 hours. And the bullseye, the heavy rain, right there south of Emporia at this point. So you can see this area right here, brighter green. That's in the tornado warning, but that's at least 1 inch or 2 inches of rain that have fallen over the last couple of hours, south side and south of Emporia. All right, back over to the velocity. That rotation looks like it is just to the southeast of Emporia, and there's another area that looks like it may be spinning here. Maybe this thing is cycling. That's a possibility, but we'll zoom in more closely on this. I'm going to turn the camera as well, and you know, just looking into a wall of white at this point with the tower camera. You guys had a wind gust report from Emporia by chance, or Olpe?
Yeah, we haven't had any reports of any winds so far.
All right.
But yeah, I would guess that they would be, I mean, if there was an actual tornado on the ground, they would be at least 60 miles per hour.
All right, so what I see here, I see 2 little areas of spin now. You know, still kind of the same area though, so the distance on this is going to be, for the actual rotation, maybe 4 miles southeast of where Highway 99 and Highway 50 cross. And the distance from Neosho Rapids here, you're looking at the rotation is about 7 miles to the west of Neosho Rapids. So for a time of arrival, we're taking this to the east here. Ignore this. I'm going to zoom it out so I can actually take it out 40 miles per hour to Neosho Rapids. That's been the forward speed that was put on this. So Neosho Rapids, if this actually goes to the east at 40 miles per hour, you're looking at arriving at 5:30, so 10 minutes from now, if it actually gets into Neosho Rapids in that form as a tornado. Taking it a little farther to the north, you're looking at arriving in, we've got Redding there. I'd have you at 5:40 p.m. if it goes more of a northeast direction, but certainly you want to be taking cover in these areas. So Olivet, Lebo, Neosho Rapids, Hartford, Olpe. This looks like it may be moving past you at this point. As a matter of fact, it looks like Olpe is not in the tornado warning now. So in Olpe, you are no longer in the tornado warning. From where you are, it's probably still very windy, but it looks like the actual tornado warning has passed by Olpe at this time. So the velocities there not showing a huge number at this point for a straight line wind event, but that storm making its way south of Emporia to the northeast has had a lot of rotation with it. It's not as tight of rotation it was earlier, but it does bear. It is worthy of a tornado warning. There's no doubt about that. Farther to the south, I do want to keep you updated on this storm that is getting into Greenwood County. So that storm could affect Lyon County next, and the rotation within this one is going to be located right about there in the west central part of Greenwood County. So if you're in southern Lyon County, this first thing is already is still in progress, really. I do want to alert you to the fact that you have another storm that's coming in your direction from the south. All right, putting this back into motion, and again, you can see that rotation was the tightest, just about 5:05, right at 5 o'clock. So right about here, you see it turn bright white for a moment, and then it takes the turn to the right, staying just south of Emporia, just north of Olpe. And I really think if there's a survey done on this, if this thing has touched down, that turn is going to be something that Emporia should be very thankful of from what I see on the radar here. So Olpe, I really think you got hit with some strong winds here. Maybe the rear flank downdraft part of that is the structure I'm seeing on this. Neosho Rapids, you are next to have the storm move through, as it's going to be arriving in just about 5 or maybe 8 minutes here at the most. And then Hartford, looks like you'll likely get some of the strong straight line winds from this. Zoom in more closely here, and right there near Neosho Rapids is kind of the worst part of the storm now. It's not quite to Neosho Rapids, it's just off to your west. Of course, Neosho Rapids already dealing with extreme flooding as well. Emporia, the Cottonwood River, way up, of course. And then we have this report a few minutes ago, Melissa, saying that the Kansas Turnpike has water running over the Kansas Turnpike 12 miles southwest of Emporia. So can't get through there, and that's a really rare thing to see. All right, so let's go back and check out the tower camera from Emporia again. You kind of have to keep checking these, even though we're looking through some of the hail and the rain now, looking off to the southeast now, and now I can actually see the intersection of Industrial Road and Highway 50. The tornado would be right back in this area if it is in fact touching down. I'm going to step off this high resolution monitor to the side and see if I can see anything in there, and I just can't. I can certainly see the Cottonwood River and the flooding along the river from that camera. I'm going to watch and see if some lightning will light this thing up. This new flood warning, who is that for? You guys tell me?
That's going to be for portions of, you talked about the flash flood warning earlier, right?
A brand new one that just hit.
Okay, let's see. There we go. That's going to Butler, Chase, Harvey, Marion, and Sedgwick. That's going to be down into Wichita area.
Okay, thank you.
Jeremy, just to add a little perspective, when Doug mentioned earlier about the 3A baseball and softball being delayed, that's not to make anything lighthearted about this. What we wanted to point out with that is that the Kansas State High School Activities Association has been keeping their eye on these storms all day. So there are a lot of local teams involved in those: Holton, Silver Lake, St. Mary's, Rock Creek. So if you were concerned, Sabetha, if you were concerned, they did move athletes and teams off the fields and fans out of the stands already by 3 o'clock this afternoon as they were watching these move in. So everybody was instructed to leave the stadiums and take cover. And now, as it became more severe, those folks already should have been under cover when the tornado warning came in. So High School Activities Association is keeping an eye on this situation and is making sure, or at least taking steps to ensure as much as they can, that the athletes and the fans have been safe throughout this afternoon. Right, if you have fans who maybe are trying to get on the turnpike and come home, you might consider telling them to sit tight at this point in time with the heavy rains.
All right, so the rotation on this is very near Neosho Rapids at this time.
Yeah, Jeremy, we did get an update on the warning for some latest times. Hartford here at 5:30 and 5 minutes, Neosho Rapids at 5:35, and Lebo and Melbourne Lake around 5:45. So, yeah, it's pretty much near Neosho Rapids and moving northeast at 30 miles per hour.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to bring us back to the tower camera again. And I can actually kind of see the bottom of the storm and the back of the storm now. We're getting out of the heavy precip at the tower camera. So I'm looking to the east-southeast there into the base of the storm. I'm going to see if we can pick this thing out, if it's actually touching down or not. We have a better look at it now, because I can actually see some storm structure instead of just that bright sheet of white that we've had. So the rotation on this, back up the velocity here, and then, okay, so the velocity here is got a decent amount of spin there, just southwest of Neosho Rapids. So if you're in Neosho Rapids, please take cover right now. That's still a very dangerous. Going to be right about here, just almost right on top of Neosho Rapids here, just a couple of miles northwest of Hartford. So Neosho Rapids, it's close to you, maybe 2 miles southwest of town, really at the most. And then looking at the tower camera here, again, this is looking to the southeast, and I can actually see some storm structure there. A few moments ago, we could hardly see anything. There we go. Now we're looking to the southeast from Emporia. All right, so looking to the southeast toward Neosho Rapids from the tower camera there. And on the horizon, you can see where the rain is just absolutely pouring. And I'm doing my best here to try to pick this thing out if I can from that wall of rainwater. Tilt it down just a little bit here. And as heavy as that rain is in there, it's just hard to pick it out. I'm going to check the other monitor here. But you're looking at, this is Industrial Road right here, Highway 50. Your water's true value is right here in this area, just south of that intersection. And your storm, this is all a curtain of rain. You can see where the horizon turns bright white. That's all hail and rain. And right inside that is where the tornado would be if it's in fact on the ground. So I still can't see it in there. This thing's still just too rain wrapped to actually pick it out. So back in the velocity mode, just because I can't see it from the tower camera, even though it's close by, the rotation here, just southwest of Neosho Rapids, is strong enough. You should be taking cover right now. It's really getting close to Neosho Rapids at this time. Zoom in one more time on this, a little closer, and see exactly where we've got it located. I'll be looking at it very close to Road 150 and Road 145, where they kind of come together right there. And this is 130 there, Neosho Rapids here. You could be, I mean, this could hit Neosho Rapids directly from what I see there on the radar. You've got the green and the bright red here right against each other. Where the green and red kind of come together, that means that the wind arrows, the wind here is going away from our radar tower, and the brighter green means going the other way, going toward the radar tower. So that rotation right on top of Neosho Rapids right now, or close to, you should be taking cover right now in Neosho Rapids. That's a very dangerous storm moving through right now, or in the next few moments, if not right now. I'm going to zoom us back out. I'm going to check the tower camera again from Emporia. Yes, go ahead, Melissa.
Just a quick update. The Kansas Turnpike Authority just gave a quick update. They want to clarify that right now the water that they have on the turnpike south of Emporia is due to just extremely heavy rain. At this point, is not from any flooding that's washing across the turnpike. It's just that is how much rain is coming down. It simply cannot get off the road, and that is where they are seeing the water over the road situation that they have.
Okay, thank you, Melissa. All right, so we're going to look to the southeast into the storm again here, and that's over toward Neosho Rapids at this point. And I'm trying to pick out if I can see a tornado in that just downpour of rain, extremely heavy rain. In the bottom part of your screen, you can definitely see the Cottonwood River where it's out of its banks by a long way. And we're looking to the southeast into the storm where there's very heavy rain, and possibly seeing the lowering there kind of on the right side of your screen. That may be it. But again, it's just the precipitation is so heavy right now, it's almost impossible to tell if you've got something there. I'm just watching to see if there's a break in the precipitation where it weakens just a little bit, so I can actually see if this thing is actually touching down. And we haven't had any spotter reports of this on the ground. None.
No, we've had a lot of funnel reports, but no actual tornadoes.
All right, we've had funnel cloud reports with it. And how about wind gusts? Any wind gust reports?
I haven't seen any wind gusts, no.
Okay.
They don't even mention any wind speeds in the Weather Service bulletin in their warning. They just mention tornado and hail. They don't even mention any wind.
Very well. All right. Go back over here to the radar then. I'll put it back on the velocity and we'll see where it's going.
Just a note, if anyone's looking for the CBS Evening News, you can watch that on 13.2 MyTV.
Thank you, Melissa. All right, so the storm is kind of east-southeast of Emporia now.
So I got about 15 minutes on this particular warning, so we'll see how this goes in the next 15-20 minutes, see if it gets extended. Certainly wouldn't expect it to not get extended with how the rotation is continuing to stay fairly strong.
Then we have the other storm to the south as well. It's coming from Greenwood County going toward Lyon. So that one could be the next problem. But this thing is just so rain wrapped, I just am not seeing it at all. Going from east all the way to south on the, all the way to east from due east to southeast. I'm just not seeing it at all from the tower camera there. All right, so another look from our camera. I'll show you what I've got here. And we're looking to the southeast from Emporia and that view. And then we'll take it a little farther to the almost due east, and I just don't see it. It's still covered in rain, so even if there's a funnel cloud from our vantage point, I can't pick it out from this spot. So how about reports? I'm going to bring up the reports map here. See if we have any official reports of funnels with it. I don't
just have an update on the warning. We got Lebo, Beto Junction, and Melbourne Lake in the path here within the next 15 minutes. So if you're in those cities, you still need to be in shelter at this time as it continues to push off to the east.
All right, thank you, Doug. So there's the storm again, Neosho Rapids and Hartford. It's very close to you at this point, moving toward areas like Lebo, Beto Junction as well, going to be in the path of this, moving roughly 40 miles per hour. Do a line track on this. It is kind of right in this area is the area that's of most concern. Moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. I put it in Lebo at 547, Olive at 557. And if it takes more of a north turn, we're looking at this arriving, let's see, we've got Hartford 536. And if it jumps straight north, which it probably won't do, we're looking at it getting up to the Arvonia area. Most likely it's going to be right along this path, including Lebo and Olivet are going to be most likely there dealing with this. And then Waverly could be dealing with this as well. So we'll put this back into to motion. I want to show you the kind of the wider look on the radar here. Again, that tornado warning going until 5:45, and I'll zoom out. And we were looking at another tornado warning to the south as well. That's bringing its path up across Greenwood County and probably affecting southern Lyon County, maybe Chase County as well. So put on the single site radar, you can see the polygons better. There you go. There's a tornado warning right here across Greenwood County. That one's moving northeast as well. If it holds together, you'd be looking at it most likely being a problem for Burlington. So Burlington heads up. That's coming your way. Coffee County could be the next one to be dealing. Northwest Coffee County has a warning now, but the southern part of Coffee County, you may be dealing with this rotation coming out of this storm. Right about there's a rotation on this, making its way through Greenwood County, and then coming up in the southeast line and probably into parts of Coffee as well. All right, let's look back at the tower camera. I can do it from right here. Looking from Emporia, the Emporia cam, and ValueNet Fiber is who provides this for us. We really appreciate the partnerships with our tower cameras. They help us a ton. So that's looking to the east from Emporia. The Emporia cam again provided by ValueNet Fiber, and you know, looking off at that. You know, that's not anticipating funnel cloud. I don't think.
No, I don't.
But it's difficult to see. I've seen things that shape. It reminds me of one in Oklahoma I chased probably 20 years ago that looked almost like that. But that's not what that is from what I see. So I don't want to just look in there and see, oh, that's suspicious and call it something it's not. I just still see a wall of rain that's hiding anything that might be in there. But again, we had some folks reporting funnel clouds with this south of Emporia. And now the rotation is really kind of east-southeast of Emporia. And from what I see there on the live camera, I think it's going to wind up hiding from us the entire time. And that's a real possibility with these sometimes. So the tornadoes the other day, because they were low precip supercells, we could see them well. Really from several camera angles, we could pick those out. But this one has stayed just south of Emporia in the heaviest rain The heaviest hail stayed kind of on the south side of Emporia and through the city, and the rotation stayed south of Emporia, which then really obscured our view to get a look at it. So again, we have the tornado warning in place until 5:45 p.m. for parts of southwest Osage, eastern Lyon, northwest Coffee are all in the tornado warning. And then we have the tornado warning in Greenwood County we're going to have to deal with next. Most likely is that one's going to make its way northeast and probably going to affect areas across southern Lyon and Chase. You be in this next. Let me zoom in on that and I'll show you something that I'm noticing right now on the southern storm as well, is additional areas of rotation showing up. Let me get this to zoom in. Oh, I need a box zoom. That's what I'm doing. Sometimes I think I can just touch it and it zooms right in, but it's a box zoom. All right, so here's what we have there. There are two different rotations here showing up on this now. So bring it back to the current mode near Janesville and just southwest of Janesville. There are two different rotations. This is the one that caused the tornado warning in Greenwood County. This rotation just popped up ahead of the initial rotation. So that one may have its own tornado warning coming along in a few moments. I don't know that for sure. But I've seen a lot of these, and from what I see of that thing advancing and developing, you'll probably wind up with a separate tornado for this rotation that's close to Janesville at this time. And that again is in Greenwood County, but the storm is moving to the east, to the northeast, and that means that Coffee County and the southeast part of Lyon County, we'd be looking at you guys having potential for the next tornado warning to develop. All right, so here at the TV station, I can hear it's pouring on the roof. I'll just look at the wider radar here. Got heavy rain in Topeka on the west side of town. It's not severe. There's heavy rain falling just south of Council Grove. We have heavy rain all the way down to Wichita. And this is going to be another night with a lot of flash flooding likely. Now for areas like Manhattan, Clay Center, Marysville, Concordia, you are calm for the evening, so you can go outside and just enjoy a nice Friday evening in those areas. Later tonight you could see storms, but this is going to stay really confined from Manhattan to the southeast. Holton, certainly going to see some rain out of this, but the worst of it is closer to Kings Turnpike. It's easier to check out the window. If you open that, it may pour straight on you. But you can try it. Go for it. All right, so what we've got there is the rotation showing up near Neosho Rapids at this time. I'm going to put the velocity back on here, and you can see the tornado warning that we've been dealing with for Lyon County now making its way into parts of Osage County and the northwest corner of Coffee County. So that's this right here. The rotation is going to be this area, and there's even a little kind of second rotation there near Arvonia. So either one of these could be producing a tornado really at any time here. So zooming it back out, I want to check the tower camera again and see if this thing has stopped hiding from us. But if you're in Lebo, Olivet, you should be taking cover right now. And it looks like they just updated the warning on this. What's the updated warning say, guys?
Let's see, it's
good.
They're continuing until 5:45, and the latest cities. Looks like it's mainly over rural areas over southwestern Osage, northwestern Coffee, and east central Lyon County. So the good news is no major cities are in its immediate path here for the next 5 minutes, but we'll see what happens as they update that or get us a new warning at 5:45.
Okay. And again, this is way different than the other day when we had the tornadoes touching down. We had, it seemed like thousands of pictures coming in real time, and it was because those storms were so easy to see in low precip storms. This one being high precip and going across the south side of Emporia with the rain really falling on the north side of the storm and the hail as well. It's about impossible to see. All right. But I'm still trying here on the tower camera. I won't give up on the thing. All right, so there's what we have. Just looks like just an updraft there. So look off to the east-southeast from Emporia.
And don't forget, we do have a tornado watch for areas along and south of I-70 going until 10 o'clock this evening. So maybe...
Guys, let's go ahead and pull up Max 2 real quick. I'll go ahead and show you what Doug's talking about here. The tornado watch in effect until 10 p.m. includes Emporia through Osage City and Lawrence. These are going to be the places, and I'm kind of watching things here in the Weather Center, seeing how things are developing area-wide. And as Jeremy mentioned, the farther northwest you go, the risk for severe weather is probably going to be lower tonight. You might not even see any storms till later on in the night. I'll show you supercast here. Here we are right now and doing a pretty good job of handling things, showing the storms generally from Council Grove through Topeka, places to the east. But watch what happens. We already see that stuff on radar down around El Dorado into Butler County, Greenwood County. So these storms are going to keep moving over areas that have already seen, of course, lots of heavy rain. It's been a very wet month so far. So flooding is going to be an additional concern with all these storms as we move on here through the rest of the evening. And so as you see, the farther southeast you are, that's where the greater rain chance is as we move on through the next few hours. Things will probably start to quiet down once you get past 10 o'clock tonight. But if we do see any more additional storms developing through the overnight hours, our primary threat would likely end up being some hail. And then, of course, we have to look at tomorrow as well, because there's another chance that we could see severe weather. But again, the latest here on radar, the tornado warning continues till 5:45. We'll see what the Weather Service is going to do here momentarily, because if you look at the wind mode on radar, the circulation is still rather broad. It's nothing that like we were looking at earlier when it was in southwest Lyon County. But as we look right here, it's still just a rather broad area of rotation. So if you're in Lebo, Olivet, Arvonia, through Hartford, Neosho Rapids, stay in your storm shelter for the time being as the storm continues to move off to the east. Again, we have not had any confirmed reports of tornadoes with this storm, but that's very likely due to the fact that this has been rain wrapped and we wouldn't be able to see it. Of course, if you've been watching our coverage here over the past hour or so, we've been looking on our tower cam and we just haven't been able to see anything. And that's, as Jeremy was talking about, these storms are dumping down lots of heavy rain as they're continuing to push off to the east. So again, radar in motion, this storm continuing to move to the northeast. We'll have about another 3 minutes here before we see what the Weather Service decides to do. There's a severe thunderstorm warning just popping up here in the pink polygon. So that might be an indication that they might allow this tornado warning to expire and instead go with a severe thunderstorm warning that includes northern sections of Coffee County until 6:30. This storm, and we've been talking about mainly the tornado potential, we have not had any reports of large hail. The hail potential actually looks fairly low. Let me look at the hail mode here on radar and kind of get an idea of what it's estimating. And it's showing maybe in some places some small pea-sized hail. Maybe at the largest we'd get some penny-sized hail out of this storm. But the main impact with this storm as it's transitioning to right now looks like it's some heavy rain. Again, the area of circulation is still rather broad. We'll see what happens here over the next couple of minutes. But as of right now, the area of circulation here moving into the northwest sections of Coffee County. There's still some broad rotation here. What you'd really want to be looking for is a really small area where colors are bright, which would indicate strong winds, and over a small area that would increase your confidence. But this is still really broad circulation, so mainly looking at some winds at this point that could be up to 60 miles per hour and all of that heavy rain continuing to push to the east. And again, if you're watching our coverage from Emporia earlier, that storm has now moved out. We'll have to watch more heavy rain coming in from the south. And I just want to give a check here on the storm over northern sections of Greenwood County, where there is also still a tornado warning in effect. That rotation even doesn't look quite as strong as it did earlier, but still something that we'll have to watch. But again, for areas in the tornado watch here, for until 10 p.m., we'll still have to watch for the potential for storms that could still produce some large hail, strong winds, and we can't rule out that chance for an isolated tornado as we move on through the rest of the evening.
All right, Peyton, I just did want to mention, Emporia, you are technically out of the tornado warning, but you got to be very, very careful of going out on the roads, because there are multiple reports of roads being inundated with the water in the city of Emporia with all this very heavy rainfall. So yeah, you may be out of the woods of the tornado, but you're not out of the woods of flooding. So I would still stay inside and not be traveling at all in that area. And for much of those areas in Lyon County, that is in the flash flood warning until 9:30 this evening.
All right, go back to Max 1 if you guys will. This is looking to the east from Emporia now, and we've got rain falling on the right side there, and it looks like a lowering on the left side. I'm deciding if that's a trouble spot or if it's just a SLC or scary-looking cloud, as we call it many times. But based on what the storm's been doing and the position we're in there, just how low that is, that looks like something that does bear watching. On the right side, you've got heavy rain. The left side there, maybe what looks to be an updraft forming. So we're going to watch that cloud for a minute here and see what that does, or if it just falls apart. Sometimes they just completely fall apart. But this is a very dangerous storm close to Neosho Rapids, making its way toward Lebo at this time. And it's over an area that's largely rural, but certainly there are people there in the path. And Lebo, you're in the path of the rotation of this. We need to watch. You guys, you should be taking cover right now in Lebo and the Hartford area. It looks like it's past you. Emporia, the rotation is past you as well. So if you're in Emporia, you are out of the tornado warning at this point. Now we're looking to the east there at just some low clouds and trying to determine if that's anything or not. But it's kind of the first look I've really had at structure on this thing. It's been hiding behind the curtain of rain for more than an hour now on us. Okay, so we have a severe thunderstorm warning now. That's what we have for several folks in the area. I'm going to zoom this out and see what we have going on to the south, what the activity is going on in Greenwood County. And you guys check in with John and see if he wants to go all the way to 6 with severe storm warnings or not.
I think we're good now.
To keep going?
Oh, we're good to wrap up.
We can wrap up.
Okay. All right. All right, so let's look at this one more time, and I'll wrap it up. We'll let it go back to the CBS Evening News, and just we have a severe storm warning right there near the town of Lebo. It's almost to Lebo is where you're going to be. Hartford and strong winds, Lebo and strong winds. It's a severe thunderstorm warning going for the next few minutes, and if there's any rotation in this, it'd be kind of in this area. And again, the National Weather Service has let this warning go, the tornado warning go at this point. So I'm going to check it out one more time from the tower camera, make sure we're looking at a scary looking cloud there. And the thing we were watching a moment ago has vaporized from what we see. So that's what we like to see, is it just goes away and lets everything go. But a good look to have the live camera there from Emporia to verify there's nothing touching down or scary off to the east, even though it's kind of enshrouded in rain with most of the storms today. All right, we'll have 13 News at 6 coming up in a few minutes with the 8-day forecast and details about your Memorial Day weekend outlook. We also have the storms to the south moving in, could keep the flooding going much of the evening. Keep your TV right here and follow the WIBW channels. We'll keep you safe and informed.